Hi everybody, so Black Ops 6 has been out for just under a week, and normally I have a first impressions review out by now, but anyway, here is my first impressions review, and it's really important that if you're not familiar with my channel, kind of understand where I'm coming from. So I'm a middle-aged gamer. I prefer sort of the slower, more tactical CODs and games and shooters in general, but I really enjoy a good Call of Duty. I came back to Call of Duties after kind of missing them really with Advanced Warfare when my son gave me his Xbox 360, and I hadn't really played anything like that since the PS2 days when I would play Medal of Honor Allied Assault. So that whole chunk of Call of Duty, the original Call of Duties and Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1, 2 and 3, I kind of missed all that sort of stuff. But I fell in love with Call of Duty after that. First with playing through the campaigns of all the CODs, and then getting obviously into multiplayer. Zombies, no, not as much so. So I was really excited about this year's Call of Duty because of the it's Activision, who make Call of Duty, are now owned by Microsoft, and I thought, right, okay, here we go. So I was hoping that Phil Spencer, who's the head of Xbox, would go to Activision, go to the Call of Duty devs and say, okay, make Call of Duty great again, because we've had some okay ones over the last few years, haven't we? But I know a lot of people have been disappointed with either the multiplayer or the zombies, or a combination with both, and none of the recent CODs for me since probably Cold War have really captured my imagination and made me play for like hundreds of hours during a year. Okay, so but that hasn't happened this time, and that may be because we're too early. This game would have still been mainly developed when Activision, well, Call of Duty was independent. That's a funny word to describe Activision, but before it was bought by Xbox. So maybe next year this will be the case, or we're going to run into the terrible situation that might happen, is that Microsoft spent all these billions buying Activision to get Call of Duty, so they want their money back. So we're going to see more silly skins and then move towards more Fortnite Call of Duty, because people will buy crazy looking guns and skins for their characters. Anyway, back to this game. Is it any good? So the headline for me is, so far anyway, good campaign. Very interesting and fun zombies, especially for a newbie. But I think the multiplayer is too fast for the size of the maps. Okay, so let's expand on that a little bit. So I haven't played much of the campaign, but from what I've played, it's really solid, it's really good fun, and it nails all those things that I think you want from a good COD campaign, which is, you know what to do. It's all about flanking and going down the sides. They throw in a little bit of stealth, very good. But things like the guns feel really good to shoot, so they feel great. It looks amazing as well on my Xbox Series S. And I've seen other feedback from people on social media and on YouTube, kind of saying, yeah, this is a really good campaign. So that's nice. Now, zombies. I've developed an interest in zombies over the last few years. I guess Modern Warfare 3 zombies, that big open world one, I really enjoyed that. And I think that wasn't because of the format of it being open world. I think it was because it was very beginner friendly. And I think it was quite clever in the fact that, I don't know if you played it or not, but if you did play it, it was on this big open world, like a Warzone map or a PUBG map, this big open world. And the difficulty was based around how far into the map you went. So if you stayed on the outside of the map near the coast, it was easy, and you could run around and survive and then extract, and it was easy. But if you wanted the bigger challenges and the bigger rewards, you simply went further inland. It had a problem with balancing for solo play, definitely, which was disappointing, which ultimately kind of hit a brick wall where it became very, very difficult to play solo, because that's generally the way I play. But that kind of sucked me in more into zombies, and it got me looking into zombies. And this year's zombies in Black Ops 6, at the start anyway, we've got two maps. You've got Terminus, and we've got, I think it's called Liberty Falls, which is the one I've been playing. And Liberty Falls is really clever, because it's going back to a round-based zombies game. So the idea is you have these rounds where it starts off where you kill a load of zombies, and then in the next round you get more zombies, and they get harder to kill. And you keep going on and on like that, round after round after round. And there's other missions you can do, and often referred to as an Easter egg, and that's how it works. But what they've done with Liberty Falls is they've made it easy to get started. And also they done it in a way where you can be introduced to the core concepts of zombies in a fun way without hitting a brick wall of thinking, what have I got to do next? And I'll do various hints and tips about zombies. I think I'm going to make lots of videos about zombies because I am enjoying it a lot. I think that's very clever. So I think if you're interested in zombies, that's a big thumbs up. Now, I've played a little bit of Terminus, which is the bigger, more serious zombies map, where it doesn't hold your hand as much and it's more challenging. And that seems fun, it seems okay. But I've been playing Liberty Falls because I can actually do the things that you're meant to do in zombies, like pack-a-punch my gun and get all my perks. All that stuff that I would be scratching my head before about and going, well, what am I meant to do this? What does this do? That introduces, so that's really good. Now, multiplayer. So, okay, this is where I think this is the disappointment for me at the moment, anyway. And I think I've got to about level 19, I think, level 18, something like that. Big chunk of that is zombies, bigger chunk of that is multiplayer. So the problem I think with the multiplayer is that I think the movement is too fast for the size and design of the maps. I've been disappointed the fact that this is a Treyarch Call of Duty. They're the kind of developer behind it, mainly Treyarch, and yet the maps don't appear to be the 3-lane Treyarch maps that that they're known for. And some people out there might be going, "Oh, we don't always want 3-lane maps." That's true. You know, you do want different maps, but the beauty of having a 3-lane map. So this is a map which basically a 3-lane map is basically a map like a rectangle, and one team starts at a thin end, one team starts at the thin end, and imagine there's 3 roads that go across this rectangle with a couple of little side streets in between. And so basically you're going down these roads and you meet in the middle. And the beauty of a 3-lane map is that generally it's easier to figure out where the enemies are coming from, where your friendlies are, and where the spawns are. When you start to get maps that are more like a square or a circle, you start to run into lots of problems where it becomes difficult to figure out where the enemies are coming from and where the spawns are. And that isn't too bad. You can have complicated maps like that, where maybe you've got lots of side streets and verticality, as long as the movement isn't too fast. Because the problem you have is if the movement is really fast, like it is in Black Ops 6, and you have these smaller, less rectangular maps that aren't 3-lane maps, it means that not only can enemies move around and flank you very, very quickly, so you're not quite sure where they should be coming from, so they can come in from the sides, but also it means that your teammates can get ahead of you, get to the other end of the map, and flip the spawns very quickly, so you end up with enemies spawning behind you. So it's harder to kind of play tactically, I think, anyway, especially, you know, if you're an older gamer like me, where some of the most success I've had in the multiplayer games has been sprint, as saying, sod it, I'm not going to play tactically, I'm not going to try and hold this corner and then come up and hold the objective. I'm just going to run around as fast as I can, sliding around and trying to, you know, always be flanking people and shooting people. So, you know, playing like a slayer like that. And that for me is disappointing. I think if you're going to have really fast movement like this, you need to have bigger maps and they need to be simpler so that you can predict where people are coming from. Or you can stick with smaller, more complicated maps that have, you know, are in the round almost, but you've got to make that movement slower and give people, you know, time to react. So that's disappointing. I have enjoyed myself with the multiplayer, but it hasn't caught me in the way that something like Cold War did, or Modern Warfare 2019 did. My favourite modern Call of Duty in terms of multiplayer was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. I really enjoyed what that did. I think it saved the franchise. But I think Black Ops Cold War took it to the next level by increasing the movement speed a little bit and improving the gunplay a little bit as well. But Black Ops Cold War was let down by its lack of content, really. That was one of the problems with it in terms of the multiplayer maps. There was lots of multiplayer map stuff, but there was some naff ones. But I prefer, you know, I think of the modern COD, Cold War was probably my favourite one. So that's how I'm feeling about Call of Duty Black Ops 6 right now. I can see myself putting a lot of time into the zombies and making a lot of content about the zombies. Multiplayer, I will keep dipping my toe into it, just to give it a go so I've become familiar with the maps. I'm waiting for things to calm down a bit so I can play Domination and play the objective without just getting shut up all the time by someone running up from behind me. And I will make my way through the campaign. So my advice to people would be, is if you're on Xbox or you're on PC, you know, get Xbox Game Pass for a month or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for a month, because you can download it and you can play through the campaign. You can have a taste of the zombies, and you have a taste of multiplayer for, you know, the price of £15 sort of thing. If you're on PlayStation though, if you're a big Call of Duty fan, then I think this is a title worth buying, because there's enough of it that's interesting for it to be worth paying all that money for, especially if you're into fast multiplayers. If you're not that much into COD though, but maybe you're very interested in zombies and have always wanted to get into zombies, then this is an easier way to get into zombies, but it's quite expensive to buy Call of Duty for that. But I think you'd probably enjoy the campaign for that way. If you're just interested in general, then at the moment anyway, I've probably got to say that this is a game where the campaign will probably be interesting to play, but that's an awful lot of money, you know, to buy Call of Duty just for the campaign, isn't it? So overall, I've got to say, good campaign, good zombies, interesting zombies, multiplayer, not so keen on. So you'll have to think long and hard if you're not into it. If you're really not into Call of Duty, you know, I'd say, you know, skip this one, buy one of the other ones, or wait for it to go on sale when it's cheap that way. But obviously, if you're on Xbox or you're on PC, you get Game Pass, and you can sort of rent it if you like for the cost of a couple of months of subscription, and check it out anyway without having to pay £70 to £80. So there we go. What do you think though? Put your questions and comments down below, and of course I'll see you again soon.